But I am Constance Shelby. I'm a registered dietitian and I own Perfect Fit Nutrition. And so I know that a lot of y'all have probably, if you've seen like the weight loss questions come through the La Leche group, then you've probably seen my name. I love that so much. I run a weight loss program for busy working women, people that don't have all the time to prep and pack and plan their meals based on what day of the week it is or whatever some of these crazy things are going on out there. I am a realistic weight loss program. And with that, we have a lot of breastfeeding mamas. With that, I was a breastfeeding mama, okay, twice, 2 times over. And so I do have 2 kids. I have a almost 6-year-old little girl, and I have an 18-month-old little girl. And I breastfed them both for 16 months. And can I just say, like, if you're here and you're breastfeeding, y'all, every day is amazing that you do that. Like, it can be extremely overwhelming. It can be extremely emotional, and it can be extremely hard. Because, you already, and I say this with like so much compassion, like you have already spent 10 months of your life, like housing this thing, and then you don't realize sometimes the stress that comes when the baby arrives, and then you think about you're the one here to feed it. Like, it's such a beautiful thing and such a special thing, but you cannot dismiss that stress and pressure that sometimes we can put on ourselves that come with it. And if you're like I was, I know that you probably are like, or you have or did or currently are doing all the research to make sure that you're like the best breastfeeding mom and the best mom in general. And it can just feel like a lot of pressure. And so I just want to say that out loud, that like, and we're going to talk about it here later, but like, you don't need to be putting a whole lot of pressure on yourself to get back to that pre-baby bod in 2 months. A lot of the people that you see out there saying they did that, we don't know their lives. We don't know their struggles. We don't know what extremes they may have gone to get to that point. So just remembering that about losing weight and about becoming a mama, being a breastfeeding mama in general, okay? That it is okay to not have it all together. It is okay to not be checking all the I'm killing it boxes. Okay. So for me, with my first child, I gained about 50 pounds. Y'all, I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. I need to eat all the things. And I did just that. And with my second one, I reined it in a little bit more and I only gained about 30. But with both of those, I was able to lose all my baby weight plus a little bit while breastfeeding with the methods that I talk about today. Okay. And so just know that, like, I'm tried and true, and like, I've done it. I've been there. I've done that. I would not tell you anything that I don't believe 100% to be true. And so I think part of the struggle with weight loss is we see so many things out there. So many different people saying so many different ways and you see their before and afters and you're like, oh my gosh, she lost weight doing this crazy diet. Maybe I should do it too. And so I'm just kind of here to debunk some of that and to let you know that you don't have to, stand on your head and eat 3 crackers or whatever to lose weight. You can do it in a normal, healthy way, and you can do it in a way that doesn't make you feel like you're gonna that doesn't make you feel like you're taking on even more of a burden, even more of a load when you're already taking care of a precious, precious baby. Okay. So who I am, I will just tell y'all. I told y'all I'm a dietitian. I started Perfect Fit Nutrition like 7 years ago. I've been doing the Lean Queen lifestyle for a while now, which is, a membership program. It is what I am. We are realistic. We talk about weight loss. We do it in a healthy way. And we are a group of women who are so encouraging and uplifting. And that is the primary focus there. And I will talk about that a little bit later. But what I'm about, okay, because I know a lot of people will come to weight loss talks or read weight loss articles and, the speaker can come from a different perspective. We are not all the same, okay? And so I want you to know who I am and what I'm about, so that in the comments, you're not asking me about Octavia, okay? Because it's just not going to happen here on this live today. I am about simple, easy, okay? In my group, we do recipes, and they are easy recipes. They are not recipes where you have to go to Whole Foods and buy 700 different ingredients that you've never heard of, and they cost $60, and then the meal sucks anyway. Like, that is not who I am. I'm about simple. I'm about easy, because I have learned over my time as a dietitian, as a weight loss dietitian, that a lot of us, that's really what we need if we're going to keep this going. Like, if we're not going to do a diet for 3 weeks and quit, if we are going to establish a method and a lifestyle that can keep us not only losing weight, but then help us keep it off in the end, it's got to be something that we feel like we can do every day, okay? And so for each of us, that's different. And you know, you work with someone to figure out what it looks like exactly for you. But I know most of us don't want the complex, hard 50-step routine every day, because honestly, we just don't have the time for it, right? Like, I don't have the time for it, and nutrition and food is my life. And so, you know, I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it easy, and I don't like it to feel so complicated. Yes, we can make it complicated, but it doesn't have to be that way. Okay. And so also at the end of the day, my girls will tell you grace is my anthem. I am all about some grace. We are not going to be perfect in anything we do. And so I'm all about saying, okay, so what? You ate too many donuts today. Wake up tomorrow and just do better. Okay. Get over what you've done today. Because that's not, if you beating yourself up over failures today is not going to change tomorrow for a positive way. And so by saying, okay, yes, I messed up. I didn't, you know, eat as well as I should, or even as a mama, like I was like a hot mess, lashed out on my kids today, like whatever it is, beating yourself up over it and sticking to that even tomorrow, you know, not letting it come out of your brain isn't helping you be better and do better tomorrow. So grace is our anthem. All right, so we are going to get into it. We are going to the first thing, I just kind of have like some bullets that I kind of want to talk through. And then again, as questions come, I'm happy to answer them. But the first thing I want to hit on is when to start trying to lose weight. Okay. Because I know y'all, oh, don't I know? You get to that end stage of pregnancy specifically. And like, for me with my second, because I gained so much so fast, y'all, in the second trimester, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I got to do something. But really, when you get to those last few weeks, you're like, gosh, I'm so ready to get this baby weight off. Like, you start to feel the weight. You start to just, you know, you're ready. You're ready to get the baby weight off. And so I know it's super, y'all, I've had women that will message me from their hospital bed and be like, can I start tomorrow? And while, you know, it depends on a lot of factors, but I usually encourage, you know, waiting to start losing weight, at least until about, if this is your first baby and you're exclusively breastfeeding, I would say at least 6 to 8 weeks after you've had the baby. Okay, you want to make sure your supply is good and established before you start trying to see what we can do to help you start losing some weight. Also, you're going to be losing weight in those first few weeks just from the fluid and all the things. And so, you know, also, if it's your first baby, you're going to be trying to figure out what you're doing. You're already going to have enough stress. You're going to be dealing with hormones that you are like, what do I even do with all this mess? You know, you're going to be trying to catch sleep whenever you can. And so for all of those reasons, especially if it's your first baby, I encourage about 6 to 8 weeks out. If it's your second, third, fourth, whatever baby, and you know your supply is established and you had good milk supply last time and everything feels okay, maybe about 4 to 6 weeks, you could get started on something. And we would just really ease you into that. And so also though, okay, so let's say you're sitting here and you are 6 to 8 weeks out, you're past 6 to 8 weeks out, and you are still struggling to try to lose the weight. Hear me when I say that it is so hard to try to lose weight if your baby is struggling. Okay. Meaning if you're, y'all, both of mine hit, witching hour or whatever around 6 weeks. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And so like if you've got a really colicky baby, if you have a baby waking up every 2 to 3 hours to nurse, and you are a type of person that struggles to go back to sleep right away, like you are very sleep deprived. Okay. If you feel like you have any type of postpartum going on, if there are anything, any other, if you don't have the perfect picture 6 to 8 week out, delivery and baby, then it might mean you need to wait a little bit longer. Because let me tell you, the worst thing ever is signing yourself up for something else, saying like, I'm so desperate to do this. I'm so desperate to do this. But knowing good and well, you aren't ready emotionally yet. Yeah, physically you may be ready. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you may think you're ready. But then when you aren't even remembering to eat until after the baby's asleep at night, like because you're so busy and overwhelmed and whatnot, you may not be ready. And so you are doing yourself, your baby, and your family a disservice by trying to push it when you can't even manage what you already have. And so, I say that with so much love and encouragement, but like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to lose weight if I've had so many just mamas that have just dealt with so much stuff. And they literally are like, I don't know how I could manage one more thing, but are also trying to like scratch, cook, and meal prep and do all this stuff. And it's just, it can feel really impossible, and it can feel like a huge, heavy burden, which in the long run, those type of choices can put like a stigma, can like put like a heavy cloud over the idea of weight loss again in your future. Okay. Because 9 times out of 10, you can't keep up. You can't keep up with your weight loss program, whatever it is, if you're dealing with all those other things. And then months from now, when you reflect back on your last attempt at weight loss, it's like, I don't want to do that. That was miserable, And so I encourage you to really focus on and think about like, where am I emotionally? Like, where am I time management wise? Like, where are we currently, and should I start a weight loss program right this second? I will tell you from my experience, once baby gets about 3 to 4 months old, you can take a little bit more of a deep breath, okay, for your standard baby that may not have, any other allergies or anything like that going on. And I'm talking to my first time mamas, like it will not be like this forever. I promise. Okay. There will come a point where you can take a deep breath. So, message me. If you're like, I don't know if I should start now or if I should message me and we'll talk about it. Okay. Because the last thing I want to do is start you on any kind of weight loss program and you not be ready for it. All right. So while weight loss can feel a little tricky, okay, I know you all have friends who like, I know, I see you now. Love your message to wait a while after delivery. It is a thing. Y'all, weight loss and weight loss is very much tied to our emotional health. It is, there are so many, what is it? What was that show? Jillian Michaels, y'all, my girls know, I always talk about Jillian Michaels, the one that came on TV and these people would like lose 100 pounds in a few months. I can't remember, but like, that's not real life. I hate that they like make that, make you think that that's real life, but those people lived and breathed. Like they literally woke up to work out and woke up to meal plan. That is not our real life at home with a newborn baby. And so you have got to be realistic with how you approach trying to lose weight. Okay. I'm off that soapbox. It's a big one for me. Okay. Anyway, why it can be tricky. So I know some of y'all have friends that like had their baby, started breastfeeding, and then they like shriveled up. Like they were way smaller than they were before. And then you're over here like breastfeeding your baby and you're like, I'm gaining weight. What is wrong? And so I will say first of all, we don't know what that mama is eating or not eating or what she's doing physical activity wise. Like we don't know. Okay. And so I will tell you, weight loss is very simple. It's basically energy in versus energy out. It just is. And so if that mama is we are, as we are breastfeeding, we are burning calories. We are expending energy, calories. So she might not be taking in as many as she's burning every day, but you're not around her to see that, right? And a lot of us don't even know, like, if we are or not. Like, a lot of us aren't tracking our movement and tracking our intake every single day of our lives, so we just don't know. We assume that we're eating healthy, but really, was that salad from Chick-fil-A 700 calories? Should have got the French fries. I'm kidding, but we just don't know. We assume, but we don't know. So never assess your journey with your friends, because you just don't know how she's doing it, even though she is breastfeeding. But also, some of us, our bodies are just holding on to fat a little harder or a little longer than our friends might be. And there is reasons behind that. And so we're going to kind of talk about that. So think about breastfeeding. First of all, just like in pregnancy, we were like the house. You know what I mean? Like, it's no longer just me, Constance. It's like, I'm the house, and like, this is the most important thing now, right? Like, you walk down the stairs holding your belly. Everybody's so worried about you, but it's like, as soon as that baby comes out, they're not worried about you anymore. It's the baby. Everybody is so worried about the baby. You're taking care of the baby. So our body is the same way when we're pregnant. Okay. As soon as we get pregnant, everything we do, everything we eat, whatever, is our body's primary focus is the baby. Okay. And so that's why, like, God forbid, but like, you could go days without eating while pregnant and it wouldn't hurt the baby. Now, you would be struggling, but that your body would be giving every single thing it has to that baby first. And then we get the leftovers. And so it's the same with breastfeeding. So our body knows, y'all, like, it is our job to feed this baby. And that is such a blessing. And it is a really cool and unique thing to be able to do this for our babies. And so, but because of that, we are still the house. Okay. And the baby is still the most important. So if you are dieting, if you are, not drinking enough water, if you are, anything that you are doing for, to your body is going to suck everything it has dry, in a sense, to be able to continue to make the milk the way that it needs to make it. Okay, so what that can mean is if you are extreme dieting, or if you're like yo-yoing, like if one day you're eating like a lot and then the next day you're eating like nothing, your fat stores are saying, whoa, this chick doesn't know what's going on. And so I'm going to hoard all this fat in these fat stores. Instead of burning it the way you would want it to, you would expect it to, because you're giving your body those mixed signals. Your body can hold on to that fat harder. Okay. It's like literally in survival mode, because it's thinking, she may not feed me well enough tomorrow or the next day or the next day. And so I've got to hold on to what I've got so that I can protect these organs, so that I can continue, all the processes that we must have going on inside our body, whether we're breastfeeding or not. And then also, especially, milk production and things like that, since we are breastfeeding. So, that is said to be true whether we are breastfeeding or not breastfeeding. Our body, if we are depriving it in any area, minerals, vitamins, fat, whatever, if we are depriving it in too much of too dramatic of a way, it is going to hoard everything. And so this is why even my ladies that aren't breastfeeding, they will say, Constance, I have been, eating salads every day at lunch, and I've been eating small portions at dinner, and like I'm at a lull. I've hit a plateau, and I'm like, this weekend, don't track. Eat what you need to eat, because eat more. And then it's crazy how quickly and how often this happens. They'll lose a pound or two the next day. Like, they'll weigh on Monday and they're down. And it's because sometimes our body, we need to trick it. And so you are then telling it, okay, here, look, okay, I'm just kidding. I'm going to give you give you the calories. I'm going to give you the fat. So stop hoarding the fat, please. And then it's like, okay, we're cool. And so it starts to shed that fat. And so I say that to tell you that if you are trying these extreme methods of dieting, even if it's like just a day or two and you're like, why am I not losing weight? It may be because your body is literally in quote unquote survival mode. Because think about our ancestors, y'all. Like, they would walk and walk and walk, and they didn't know when they were going to get food, next. Like, it wasn't always like a Kroger down the road for back in the day. And so our bodies are designed to survive in those circumstances. So it hasn't changed. Just because we got Kroger up the street now doesn't mean that our body's normal survival methods have changed. And so you are still your body is still going to think, oh, this chick may not eat again for who knows how long. So I've got to hold on to everything I've got. Okay, so that off that soapbox. So also though, just a little side piece here. When we eat or drink specific foods or drinks, it's not really going to affect our milk that much. Now, alcohol and like herbal supplements and stuff like that, that's a different story, because those can hit your bloodstream, right? And the bloodstream is how we're making milk. But like, you're like feeling all bad about yourself because you didn't eat 3 servings of broccoli today. Like, yeah, it may affect the flavor of your breast milk a little bit, but it's not like, again, I just told you, your body's going to seek those nutrients from anywhere. Like, it's going to suck them out of you. So if you've got them hanging around from something else, it's going to use them. And so, don't beat yourself up over thinking like, I should have had, the cleanest lunch to support this baby that I'm breastfeeding, because our bodies are really making that milk and making it as nutritious as it can, with or without, your specific foods that you've identified for baby. And same with things like, allergy. I think a lot of us assume our babies have, intolerances or allergies, and some do. I'm not saying that, but just because your baby's got gas, like, y'all, baby's got gas. The first several months of life, babies are really bad about gas regardless. And so just knowing that specific foods are not always going to be the cause of, gas problems, and they're definitely not going to like wreck your milk supply, aside from the things that go straight to our bloodstream, like the alcohol and the supplements. But with that said, we are, like I just said, our body's going to use what it's got to focus on baby number one. So we will actually be the ones that suffer if we are depleting ourselves in some area. Okay. So for instance, if you are cutting out carbs main job is to give us energy. Okay. And to help us to like be our best self and help with our brain, our mood, and all the things. And so if you're cutting carbs, your baby's still going to get what it needs. If you do it for a long amount of time, you might see a dip in supply. But if you're cutting carbs, what's going to happen is you're going to be extra tired. Okay. You're not going to get some of those antioxidants or some of that fiber that you might need to try to go to the bathroom, sis. It's going to be you that is going to suffer. And you, as the mama trying to take care of this baby and be the best mom that you can be to this baby, you don't need to suffer. Okay. We are already dealing with all the hormones and the things. We don't need to, eat some sort of crazy type of way and have it alter how we feel or our mood any more than we already are experiencing from the stress and the hormones and the things. Okay. So just a little tidbit there, because that is why I believe that a balanced diet is the only way really to go and to live. Because even if you're not breastfeeding anymore, even if you're a mom of 3 and they are all going in 12 different directions, like, you need to be your best self to keep up with them. And yes, you think, losing weight would make you your best self, and you might feel better about yourself after losing weight, but like, did you punish yourself to get there? And so anyway, you can lose weight without punishing yourself to get there. So we're going to talk a little bit about some diets and some methods that may not be the best idea. The first one are supplements and shakes. And I just want to tell y'all that I think this is the scariest thing on the market. Like these weight loss shakes, these weight loss pills, anything that labels itself as a dietary supplement, okay? Do not assume that just because it's a product on the market that it is safe, okay? Y'all, we are as Americans, we're all about screaming about not trusting this and that and the other. I'm going to tell you, it is not wise to trust these companies that are rolling out these dietary supplements on this market. And let me tell you why. If it is labeled as a dietary supplement, the FDA does not have to approve it as safe. So basically, I don't know how long ago it was, not too long ago, they concluded that the FDA, when it's a dietary supplement, now food is a different story, but when it's labeled as a dietary supplement, they do not have to say, the FDA does not have to say, yes, well, we can put this on the market, okay? So if you're at that company's will, so you are trusting big boss man sitting in that top office with your health and with your life because you're trusting him to have only put safe ingredients in there. You're trusting him to have not put it on the market knowing that maybe something was cancer causing or maybe something did, to your heart or, so you are trusting someone you don't know with your health. And then if you're breastfeeding, with your baby's health. Okay. So only when something goes wrong does the FDA get involved with dietary supplements. And that's when you see the recalls and the things. And y'all, just Google it. Check out the FDA recalls. They are happening left and right. And so part of that is if a company doesn't get called out, they could in fact be putting ingredients, not only ingredients that were what does that even mean? They could be putting ingredients in those supplements and not even listing them on the label. And it's happened a million times over. I mean, it's happened so often. So even though you're reading the ingredient label, you're and then some of them don't even tell you green tea extract. And I'm like, well, how much green tea extract? Because, if you have enough green tea extract, you're going to be bouncing off the walls. And so, but they tout it as healthy. Green tea is healthy, and it is unless it's in excess. And so, me personally, I do not support any supplements or any dietary supplements. I'm not real crazy about any shakes or anything. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they may help you lose weight, but y'all, have you ever drank too much coffee? You are all that caffeine, you're bouncing off the walls. Your belly's pretty full because that caffeine's keeping it full. I mean, you're burning more energy. And so, yeah, you might lose weight. Or even an appetite suppressant. It's going to cause you not to want to eat. So you're not going to eat. So you're not going to eat as many calories, energy, and you're going to see that weight loss. But what exactly are you doing to your body each day when you take this? And it's a toss up. You don't know. You just don't know. And so, yeah, for sure, even if you're done breastfeeding, to me, that's a huge, and I even tell my girls, I'm just not crazy about, sugar alternatives for the same reason. Now it's a little different. They're regulated a little more heavily, but I just, I'm why would I put something in my body that's not really a food that was really made in a lab? You know what I mean? I would rather just limit my sugar intake, and it tastes better too. And I don't crave sugar later like you do with a lot of these, alternatives. So, yeah, I'm not about putting a whole lot of fake junk in your body because you just don't know. We just don't know. I mean, y'all, all these different things that come out about if you were exposed to something 30 years ago and now you have who knows what, we just don't know right now what it could be doing to us in the future. Okay, carbs. I just want you to say it loudly. Keto was made for people with epilepsy, y'all. Keto was made to manage a very, very severe illness, okay? And so those people with epilepsy wish more than anything that they didn't have to follow keto. And so I say that because it is so hard, even for those people that are it manages their issue, their, the effects of epilepsy so much better. Like they do it because they feel better. The people with epilepsy, they do this diet because they feel better. They have better brain function. They have all these things, but they would say it is so hard, and they would so much rather not have to do that. And so for us to be electively choosing to try like super low carb diets or keto, I mean, in my personal opinion, if it's not something you could stick to forever, then why would you even try it? Because so what happens is if we go on these extreme diets, like if we, say we're just going to cut out all carbs for a few weeks. Well, yeah, you see the weight loss. A lot of it's probably like water weight and different things, but yeah, you're going to see the weight loss. But then there's going to come a point where you're like, I'm done with this. Like if you I laugh about this all the time because if you sign up for the lifestyle, you fill out a in-depth questionnaire so we can kind of get to know about you. And one of the questions is like successes and barriers, like successes and, what has happened in the past that has worked and what has happened that has not. And then another question is rate your favorite foods, And so everybody will come in there and say they've tried keto and they failed. It didn't last. It didn't work. And then like their favorite food is bread. And I'm like, of course it's not going to work. I mean, of course if your favorite food on the planet is Oreos, I'm not going to ever tell you to go on a no Oreo diet. I mean, that is just not realistic. Yeah. If you eat a sleeve of Oreos a day and then you go on a no Oreo diet, yeah, you're going to lose weight. But you're not going to be able to maintain that forever, right? And so what's the point? Because all you're doing is setting yourself up for regaining that weight and also having this different mindset around weight loss, like teaching yourself that you have to give up the Oreos, you have to give up the bread to be able to lose the weight, which is not true. So why not start like with a balanced diet to lose weight so that you can maintain that forever? So low carb, back to low carb. Yes. If you hate carbs, like if you've been a person that's always been like, I could give or take, any carbohydrate, bread, fruits, vegetables, rice, like any of that, then maybe low carb would work for you. But I don't know many, specifically, I don't know many women that could say that. And so low carb's probably not the best for you. You know what I mean? Same with intermittent fasting. Like if your favorite meal of the day is breakfast, probs don't need to cut out breakfast every day because you're going to be miserable every day. You're going to wake up and you're going to think, I wish I had breakfast. I mean, until you finally give in to having breakfast. So, the overall gist of that is I believe you need to kind of meet yourself where you are. Okay. And that's different for everybody. And so that's why, a lot of women will come to me and they're like, hey, I want a meal plan. Hey, can you tell me just what I need to eat? And I'm like, no. We have a lot of ideas out there. We have a ton of recipes. I mean, we have all the info for you to absorb, but it is ultimately up to you to figure out what you can and cannot live without, and then how we can make that work, to see the weight loss, because everybody's different. So what should my eating look like to lose weight? Okay, we talked about all the things and what things we shouldn't do. So what should you do to lose weight? Okay, like I said, balance and moderation are the key. No exclusion of food groups, okay? So I highly encourage, yes, figure out work with a dietitian, work with somebody to figure out your calorie needs, your macronutrient needs, but never say, I'm just going to cut out X, or I'm just going to cut out Y, or whatever it is, because that's immediately when you set yourself up to feel restricted, okay? And so when we feel restricted, there's usually, it feels like a start and an end date to our restriction, and that's not what we want. And two, that's when we push ourselves a little too hard and end up dipping our supply or, giving up completely or whatever it is. So no food exclusion. Working with that dietitian to figure out, no matter if you are trying to lose weight, maintain your weight, if you are pregnant, trying to have a healthy pregnancy, if you are breastfeeding. There are different, don't go to Google, because they'll set you up on that 1,200 calorie diet, and then you'll lose your milk supply, and you'll think, well, I just can't do this. Okay, so really finding your individualized needs for you and the stage of life that you're in right this second. And just a side note, we do, as breastfeeding mamas, we actually need more calories now than we did when we were pregnant. And so if you're, breastfeeding exclusively and your baby's not having solids yet, we need more calories right now than we did when we were even pregnant. So it can feel real tricky. So balance. I encourage, because I know a lot of us who are breastfeeding are starving all the time, and we have cravings all the time. And so with both my kids, I craved sugar more breastfeeding than I did pregnant. So you're hungry all the time. And so part of it is like, well, I ate and I'm ready to eat again. And like, I know I'm overeating kind of thing, because you're hungry all the time. So I would say, and this is probably the hardest, for us, is like, eating is not our priority right now. Like, while we have a little baby to care for, it's not, like, especially if you're back at work, like, you're just trying to like pump on your lunch break and stuff like that. I mean, like, eating is not our priority. So it's hard to spend a lot of time thinking about it. So what we do is we tend to like grab some foods that are lower in nutrients and in turn make us hungry faster. So one of my very, very best, thoughts about this is to balance when you eat. Whether it's a snack, whether it's a smaller portion size, whether it's a meal. When you eat, try to have a balance of carbs, fat, and protein. Okay? They all three exist for a reason. They all three are important for our body function. So when you give your body all three at the same time, it is more likely to get what it needs to get done and to keep you satisfied longer. So some quick ideas. Grab an apple with some peanut butter. That's your carb, and then there's your fat and your protein in the peanut butter, okay? Rice or beans with a meat or dairy, okay? Like, just something quick. If you wanted to do some almonds with, a piece of fruit or whatever, that's your fat and your protein with some fruit, your carb. Breakfast, some scrambled eggs or even a boiled egg with some vegetables or fruit for your carb. Okay, your egg is going to be your fat and your protein if you eat the yellow and the white, and then your vegetables and your fruit is your carb. I have a food pairing tip sheet that I would love to drop in the comments or something. No, I don't know how to do that, but it kind of shows you like what foods belong to what, and then you can figure out like, okay, I want to have this, so I can put it with this, and then it'll be fully balanced. Toast with avocado on top, and then maybe if you needed a little more protein, you could put like an egg, or you could put egg white or turkey sausage on the side. Cottage cheese with fruit. Y'all, cottage cheese has the fat and the protein, and then the fruit is the carb. Cereal with milk is not the worst thing in the world, okay? It's just not. The milk's got the protein and the fat, and then the cereal is your carb. Greek yogurt with fruit, okay? Same deal, same thing. So just some quick things to grab. And one thing that I recommend is to really use like a tracking, like if you're literally like, I have no idea what's a carb, I really encourage you tracking your intake, because it teaches you the foods that you eat, and then you can turn that MyFitnessPal sideways and see how many grams of carbs, how many grams of fat and protein, like it teaches you what you're eating and what they're classified as. Okay. Okay. So some other thoughts. Let me see if I've got any questions coming. Actually, I'm going to look on my computer. What questions do y'all have? Whitley, what does fasting do to supply? It just depends on the person. Some people it doesn't affect, because they like at their last, meal, they ate enough that it was okay to kind of like roll into the next day. But some people, it can dip their supply. It's based on each person. Oh, I love y'all. All my pregnant mamas in here. I'm ready for y'all to have these babies and get on back to me. Melissa, I'd love to hear your thoughts on intermittent fasting. Okay. So I just kind of hit on it. I will say that there is some evidence out there that fasting can boost your metabolism. Is the evidence really strong? No, because it's kind of a new thing being studied. Could the evidence be strong one day? Yeah, I mean, it could. But when I say boost your metabolism, I'm talking like a 50-calorie difference. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying, like, okay, just say regularly for me to maintain my weight, I would need 1,600 calories a day. Okay, just assume. If I intermittent fasted, I could eat 1,650 to maintain my weight. That's just an example. Please, because I would have to look it up exactly. But on these studies, yes, it boosts your metabolism enough to call it statistically significant, but not, in my opinion, it's not enough to alter your entire lifestyle around intermittent fasting, to skip family dinners or breakfasts or lunch or whatever it is because you're intermittent fasting. Like, it is. So if you're a person, like I tell my girls all the time, like, if you're a person who you could kind of give or take breakfast, and I'm one of those. I'm one of those, except when I'm breastfeeding, then I have to have breakfast. But I can kind of give or take it. Like, and so if you're like, you know what, I'll just try to fast since I could just, whatever, that's fine. But if you are choosing to intermittent fast to lose weight, and it is the most miserable thing you've ever done, stop, because it's not worth it in my personal and professional opinion. But again, it's still new. I mean, new research on the rise. I do not trust usually any research that is done by a company selling a product, if that makes sense. So like, I used to work for a nonprofit, and I did a lot of research in grad school, and like anything that was funded by the foundation that, was trying to get this product high, it can be sticky. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So, but there is some legitimate research out there, but it's small about intermittent fasting. That's where I will leave that. So again, I would not turn my life inside out trying to lose weight specifically with intermittent fasting if it doesn't work well for you. Like, if it doesn't work well for your life, like if it becomes a barrier in your life. Okay, exercise. That's one thing I wanted to hit on. Y'all, so many people think you can't lose weight without exercise, and that's just not true. That's just not true. I will be honest with you. We absolutely encourage exercise, especially like mamas and new mamas. And, if you have some time to exercise, definitely do it, because it is so good. If not just for your body and your heart and all the good things it does for you physically, mentally, it is so good for you. Like, just being able to say, hey, honey, can you watch the baby for 10 minutes? I'm going to go walk around the block. Or, hey, I'm going to put the baby in the stroller and walk around the block. During nap time, I'm going to do a YouTube workout. There's tons of YouTube, yoga, HIIT, all kinds of bar workouts. So yes, like I firmly believe that exercise is great for you emotionally and of course physically. But sometimes we get all in our head and we're like, I don't have time to work out. I can't join a gym. I can't afford a gym, whatever it is. And so you start to think, well, I can't lose weight. And that is not true. But I would not say majority. We have around 650 women in the lifestyle right now. I would actually say, yeah, majority probably don't work out, because majority of them are mothers of several children or at least one young child. Majority of them work full time, or majority of them stay at home full time and don't literally, like, when your baby's napping, girl, you're doing the dishes or laundry or literally just taking a minute for yourself to breathe, right? Exercise may just not be the priority at that time. And so majority of them do not work out, and majority of them are losing their weight. Like, it's not a have to kind of thing. Again, it is super encouraged. If you have the time, if you really want to do it, I'm so there for doing it. But just know that you don't have to exercise to lose weight. So my mamas that are especially in like their first year of the baby's life, just maybe put that on the to-do list for later, for down the road. With both of my kids, I have exercised since high school. I mean, I just like it. I've done different forms of exercise throughout my time. And for both of my children, I really didn't exercise much at all the first year of their lives. It's just, for me, the only time to do it was early in the morning, and like, I'm not doing it early in the morning when I haven't gotten sleep the night before, and so I lost my baby weight from both my kids in the first 6 months. So, exercise is not required to lose weight. Something else I've noticed, and I feel like I've either seen this in La Leche or I've seen it in my group. I've seen it a lot. And so I wanted to, and I see it, of course, in my inbox a lot. And it was actually true for me too. So I thought I would address it here. Around the 4 month, well, first of all, okay, consistent weight loss while you're breastfeeding is not like, okay, I know you will like get your calories and your numbers and you're like, okay, this says I should lose about 1 pound a week. So every week you expect every week on the Friday to get on that scale and it's going to be one more full pound down. And sometimes that's just not the case. It could be a million different things. It could be how much sodium you had the night before. It could be you did go on a walk and your muscles are a little swollen. You didn't get enough sleep. So you are a little, swollen. Like it could be a million things. We'll never be able to pinpoint exactly what it was. But just know that it's not always consistent, especially when you're breastfeeding. Okay. For all the reasons I just said, and for what I said earlier about, your body, kind of fighting you off. It's like survival mode all the time. And so, a lot of times, especially in my personal journey, I noticed like I would stall for weeks at a time. And then like the next week I would lose 3 pounds. Okay. Now, did I lose 3 pounds in a week? No, my body was working on it all those weeks that I was stalling, and something happened, something clicked, and it just decided, okay, I'll let go of this fat. She can lose 3 pounds this week. I don't have the rhyme or reason for that. I don't think anybody does, but just know that it's not always going to be consistent. So please do not start a weight loss journey and then 2 weeks go by and you haven't lost, you will probably lose at the beginning, but then 2 weeks go by and you haven't lost anything and you give up, because that success was just around the corner if you had just been a little more patient, So just know that it's true in all weight loss, but especially with breastfeeding mamas, I've noticed it is not always consistent. In fact, one time I logged my weight every week and I copied it and pasted it into my group to show my clients, like it would do like this. I mean, I would be up some weeks, like it was awful. But eventually when you looked at that top number and that bottom number, girl had lost all her weight, and that's the end game. You've got to stick to your guns. You've got to keep going, keep pushing forward, because it will come. It will absolutely come. Also around the 4-month mark, I didn't lose. Like I stalled forever. And so when my baby was around 4 months old, I stalled forever. And so it's happened to so many of my clients as well. And it's had me thinking, like, our babies usually go through like a growth spurt and they struggle to sleep sometimes during then. And, I feel like my milk supply increased at 4 months. And so I'm like, it's probably all got to do with that. And so too, your body is probably leveling out from it was in overdrive probably for the first few months. And now it's kind of leveling out and it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to do this for a while. So I'm saying that out loud to my mamas who are trying to lose weight right now and whatever. If you're close to that 4-month mark, or if you're in that 4-month mark, don't get discouraged. Again, I have no science behind that. I just felt really compelled to say that because it just seems so common for my breastfeeding mamas, and it was common for me as well. So just keep pushing through, and maybe about like month 5, you'll lose 5 pounds at once, or, whatever it is that happens. You will continue to see the weight loss though, if you just keep pushing through past that 4-month mark. Okay, I'm going to check these questions one more time. I feel like I have been here on forever. Oh, Sydney, I saw your sweet girl. Our babies share the same name. It's Glory, and I love it so much. I know you have a special reason behind your Glory too, and I know mine is definitely a special reason too. So I'm so happy for you for having that sweet baby. Let's see. Yes, Krista, I breastfed my son for for 18 months, and my body held on to about 10 extra pounds until I weaned, and I almost instantly lost the residual weight. Is that a thing? Absolutely. And it has to do with kind of what I was talking about earlier. your body was slowly letting go of some of that fat, but it was like, oh no, girl, I'm not going to let go of all of it, because what if I need it? What if I need it to feed your baby? And so again, baby is priority. And it's different for different people. Some people don't, like me. I held on to about 3 to 5 pounds. But most women will hold on to a little bit until they're completely done. And then you got to be careful, because then when you're done breastfeeding, it can be so easy to keep eating like you are breastfeeding, and then you can gain a little bit back, so you have to be ready. You have to be like, okay, I've stopped breastfeeding. Now what are my numbers? Now how should I eat? Now, should I cut out that nighttime snack, which is what I've had to do. Courtney, I'm in the 4-month mark, and that is so true. I'm at that 4 mark. Y'all, I'm telling you, it is a thing. It is such a thing. And so again, I have no scientific research behind it. I have noticed it. Any of my breastfeeding mamas that will message me in the program and they're talking about stalling, I'm like, how old's baby? It's almost always 4 to 5 months old. So just know it's a thing. Know that you keep pushing through. Definitely drink that water consistently, and of course keep tracking, like make sure you are seeing what you're eating and knowing that you're staying within your parameters. But you really, the just push through. I mean, it's kind of what we sign up for, right? Like, I know it doesn't always seem fair, but we did sign up to like nourish our babies and take care of our babies with our body. And that is such a blessing. And it's such an amazing thing. And so just as we were in pregnancy, we're putting that, and really for the rest of their lives, we're putting that baby before ourselves in that moment. And it's just a decision we need to make for ourselves, and just feel confident and strong in that. Yeah, you can pout, it may be unfair, but like at the end of the day, you're like, I'm just going to keep breastfeeding and keep trying to be healthy. And, I promise it's going to come, If you would like to join us in the Lean Queen lifestyle, again, you would sign up on my website. You would get, you would have access to your assessment immediately. And so you would go in there and you would fill it out, and you would say, I'm breastfeeding. My baby is X amount old. I am, exclusively breastfeeding versus, supplementing. That's different. It provides different numbers for you. So giving the details about your journey and how far along your baby is and all that stuff. And then, from there, we will give you your specific needs, your specific calorie and macro needs. You'll have immediate access to the dashboard of the Lean Queen lifestyle, which is full of videos just like this. I go live with my girls at least once a month. And then I have a lot of informative videos out there too. Lots of tip sheets, which I want to figure out how to drop one of the ones in here, with the carbs, protein, and fat. But we have a ton of other tip sheets, like how to eat on the go, some snack ideas, more specifics about the different macros, how to eat on, how to order on a date, or how to eat at family functions. We've got all kinds of good stuff like that. We've got a ton of recipes. So I, develop recipes that are mom friendly, that are family friendly. I'm sure if you followed me on social media, you will see a lot of my girls make the recipes. They love the recipes. And then we also have a recipe album inside of our private Facebook group that provides even more recipes. Like, recipes should not be a problem, because we have a ton of them. Also, I have a 40-page book that just kind of outlines a little bit more. It's on your dashboard if you were to sign up. It outlines what I'm about, how, more of what I've talked about here today. It outlines, specifics about weight loss and exercise, and, how to just make it all work together. What else am I missing? Recipes, tip sheets. We have articles, posts and stuff that we put out, but then we do have we have a weight tracker for you to keep up with your weight loss as you go. As long as you stay in the lifestyle, you have access to us, meaning we will adjust your numbers. So like, if you stop breastfeeding, those numbers need to change. If, you cut down your sessions, those numbers need to change. If you lose 10 pounds, those numbers need to change. So we're always there to, redo your numbers for you, to be with you through your journey while you're losing weight and breastfeeding. I will say that if you are in a place emotionally where you can try to lose some weight while breastfeeding, from a personal standpoint, y'all, it feels a lot easier because like you get more calories, so you get to eat more. And so it does feel a lot easier to try to lose that weight while you're breastfeeding. So, don't hesitate to join or to try to lose weight if you feel like you are able at this point. Again, we encourage waiting at least 6 to 8 weeks after baby so you can establish that supply before you try to lose weight. At the end of it, weight loss is definitely possible while breastfeeding. It takes a little more patience. It takes a little more grace. It may take some tweaking. No, do not go on a 1,200 or 1,500 calorie diet while you're breastfeeding to try to lose weight. And it may go a little slower, but it can absolutely happen, and it can happen easily. If you want to know more about me, check out my website, perfectfitnutrition.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My email address is Constance@perfectfitnutrition if you've got any questions.